In this lesson, we'll continue our review of PSAT Reading Test 2, Section 1. We are still on the second passage out of 5. This is the article, How the Number of Democracies in the World Today is Increasing and Larger Than Ever, and the number of autocracies has been declining sharply. And we're on question number 16. There's just 3 questions left, and we also have this graph. There's some questions on that. So let's take a look at 16. Which of the following is cited in the passage as an indicator of political openness? So you're just looking for evidence in the passage, political openness. This is not a phrase, I think, which can be paraphrased. And so that you really are just looking for this phrase, political openness. And I think it's toward the end of the passage here. So around 63, yeah, here's the phrase, political openness. So I'll read a little bit previously, but in fact the opposite is true. How elections are central to democracy, they are not the only indicator of political openness. Freedom of the press, civil liberties, checks and balances that limit the power of any single institution, including that of head of state, and other measures convey a sense of government's grip on society. And so we know that these are all listed. Looks like political openness, we've got freedom of the press, civil liberties. If we look at the choices here, right, it's definitely B. Even though head of state was listed, that was in the parentheses, and I'll just go back to review it. That was really part of checks and balances. It wasn't just head of state, right? It was just limiting the power, but freedom of the press is a better choice here. So the answer is B. And then question 17, we have a question on the graph. According to the graph, the number of autocracies in 1975 was less than the number of what? So let's take a look at 1975 autocracies. That's the solid line. So 75 is right here. And what do we know about that? So I'll just read the answers. The number of autocracies was less than the democracies in 1950. Well, democracies in 50, it's the dotted line. It's much more. It's not A. How about democracies in 1995? No, it was still more than that. We want less than. How about autocracies in 2011? Well, autocracies in 2011, it was much, much more. How about democracies in 2011? If you draw this horizontal line, you see, right, democracies in 11 was just a slightly higher than autocracies in 75. And so the answer there, you just have to be careful reading that question. For number 17, the answer is D. And the last question on the graph one, according to the graph, the number of democracies was roughly equal to the number of autocracies in which of the following ranges. And that's really when the lines crisscross, right, when they cross over. And so what range is that when they cross over? Well, this looks to be somewhere between 85 and 90, right? Looks like 87, 88, and 85 to 90. The answer is B.